And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK Show, and this is going to be episode 467. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great weekend that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK Show, we actually have no topics tonight because I just got off work after working Friday on Easter weekend. So no, I do not have energy for a dedicated topic, but we are going to have our usual guy bro conversations that you guys all know and love. And our featured guest tonight is Jason Hunt, aka SciFi4Me. We did a one-on-one about 3 weeks ago, pretty much like last month, actually. I think it was around that time frame. So if you want to get his backstory and origin, go watch that episode, actually. And what's crazy is tonight, we're actually starting on time. Now, usually we're late because Jared is busy tweeting about how much he hates Lois Lane and how much he loves Wonder Woman. Jay Heat's, getting sucked off. And then I'm just getting off of work. These are the usual reasons why we're late. And Jason, well, he's only here for the night. Unless he's going to...
I just tucked my wife into bed, so I'm good for the night. And
Me too. She doesn't exist.
Same.
Yeah, she's a blow-up doll around here somewhere. Maybe I'll blow her up later and use her in Minecraft, allegedly. So, guys, I've had a really, really long day. So, basically, I got paid this morning, went to the bank, pulled out money for my rent, and then went to work, got fisted, like turbo fisted. I'm talking like Diddy fisted in the ass, got off work, went to Walmart because I didn't have my Bluetooth headphones because I lost them the previous night. So I ended up getting these ones. They're like $10, so it doesn't matter. And then I ended up getting a shelf at Walmart because, as you guys know, so the reason why I don't do as many openings anymore is because I don't have enough space on my shelf. I have to get a new shelf. So I was at Walmart and I was like, I can get the new shelf I need. So I ended up buying the shelf. We ended up getting a shelf. I couldn't carry it. My hands went flaccid. An old lady made fun of me. But I think she wanted to have sex with me. So that's neither here nor there. Then I got home, and then neighbor wanted to clean my bathroom, so I helped him clean my bathroom. So I ended up cleaning my toilet, and then I figured out that I wasn't using my vacuum properly. There was a pump for my vacuum, and it just hadn't been using it at all. So yeah, pretty long day. This is like the only sit down time I've had literally all day. So, that's my Easter Friday for you guys. But no, if you guys are religious, happy Easter weekend, everyone. If you do believe in Jesus Christ, then he's gonna rise for you on Sunday. So that's awesome. If you guys do go to church and have that. For me, I'm a degenerate, disgusting, good-looking, tall, rich, charismatic person. So doesn't really apply to me. But if you are religious, glad you're gonna have a great weekend coming up with your family and friends. So we'll do intros really quickly, talk for a little bit, and good Lord, I get all of your algorithms. I get Jason's, I get Jay Heat's, and then I get Jared's too. Jared's is the worst. These people who like Wonder Woman are just like degenerates, not the word. I'm talking like literally you don't live life. These people act like they legitimately own Wonder Woman. I saw someone give a take on her just randomly, not Tom King's retarded take. That was just bonkersly stupid. And someone was like, how dare you treat my beloved Wonder Woman like that? Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, you do know she's not real, right?
The majority of people on the internet, I'm convinced, have this parasocial relationship with these characters because they apparently treat, like, I had a take on Lois, and then someone said that's disrespectful to Lois, and I go, Lois isn't real.
The same thing happened with Invincible, with the recent episode that just happened.
The tech jacket thing. Yeah,
that, and the other part of that, which is like people are like, oh my God, Debbie would never forgive. I just want to point out to guys. Okay. So it's improbable that Debbie would forgive Nolan. Okay, let's just use that premise. I know all of you have watched Dragon Ball Z, so don't even say I never watched it. Fuck off.
I never watched it.
Fuck you. I hate you. So most of us who's watched Dragon Ball, right? Or Naruto. I'll throw Naruto in there. I'll throw that in there. Okay.
Endeavor from My Hero Academia says we might as well go all in.
Could kind of work. Yeah, it works.
Might as well.
So, Vegeta is a Saiyan prince, like the Viltrumites. They're way stronger. His dad, in a flashback, whiffed a planet with his bare hand. So, arguably, you could say that that's genocide, right? So, Vegeta's whole race genocides people. Vegeta came to Earth, killed Goku's friends, then almost killed him, then almost killed his son, then killed more people on Namek. Didn't really reform himself almost ever until, you would say, like, mid-Cell Saga, roughly. Boo Saga, he straight up almost kills like what 100, 300 people in an arena, right?
About roughly 350. Roughly 350.
But apparently, Nolan is irredeemable, yet all of you like Vegeta. How in the world does that make sense to you? Some of you actual
none
idiots.
of this actually makes sense, MSK. You should know this.
The closest argument you can make, and I know the comments are covering my face, but the closest argument you could make is, oh, Vegeta never pretended to be who he was. He never had to.
He never had to. That's what he was. He was programmed to be that way.
Half the time, Vegeta was just bumming off Bulma until he eventually tolerated humans. That's it. That's basically half of Vegeta's arc right there, if we're not counting Future Trunks. Like, where's the wrong? Where's the lie?
Also, I want people to understand. I would imagine Vegeta's race is based off of, like, you could say pirates, right? Okay, so barbarians, pirates, right? Okay, guys, they're barbaric. They don't live by the same code of ethics that we do. Dang it. Obviously, I'm a bigot towards Saiyans. I'm a Saiyan sis. Hashtag Saiyans lives matter. Just jokes aside. So it's like, okay, let's just use that as logic. You all like Vegeta, yet he was quite literally a genocidal, homicidal maniac who straight up murdered who knows how many millions of species.
And an egotist who endangered an entire galaxy multiple times.
Yep. But yet you can't forgive. But yet you guys can't conceive in a world where Debbie could possibly forgive Nolan.
What they mean is they would never forgive. But the problem is they keep projecting how they would act onto these characters. It's like all these writers that have these bullshit political takes about characters. Like, oh, this character would definitely agree with my political takes. It's like people saying, oh, Batman is definitely anti-gun. I'm like, no, he's anti-murdering people with a gun. There's a big difference, guys.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry if I froze there for a second, but but I do agree with Jared too. Like, it's like when people say, "Oh, Goku's a bad dad," and you say, "No, he could never be a bad dad." Want to know why? He saved his son from his horrible uncle who was trying to murder them. Actually, died doing it. That person would never be a bad dad in real life. If I said that my dad died saving me from my uncle who tried to kill me, would you in your mind think that's a bad dad? No, you go like, that's fucking awesome, dude. Your dad's a fucking hero. This is why most of you are parasocially attached to people. Guys, Viltrums aren't real, okay? I've seen women. Okay, if I'm supposed to believe this,
next thing you'll be telling me is that Santa Claus isn't real.
I will say this. I'm not going to make this super political. You know that lady Erica Kirk, who just had her husband assassinated? Now, I'm not saying if she's a good or bad person. That's not what I'm saying. Hypothetically, if I'm supposed to believe that Tyler Robinson did it, she said she forgived him. That sounds crazy to believe, right? Women literally like that Luigi Manganiello guy who straight up assassinated some CEO randomly.
I believe it was Cash App.
Hang on. Erica Kirk is not forgiving Tyler Robinson because she's got a thing for him.
Okay.
Sorry. But just the notion that she could forgive someone who potentially in Minecraft allegedly murdered her husband. That's kind of crazy, right?
Let him finish, MSK.
No, that's the Christian thing to do. If she's going to live her life as a professing Christian, then the belief is that you forgive others as you want to be forgiven. It's a prime principle of the faith.
I agree.
So she's walking the walk, not just
talking the talk.
Service to it.
Yeah. And as what Jay said, these characters aren't real. Literally in anime, Naruto forgave the person who quite literally started world wars.
At least
murdered at least two. And then behind the scenes, murdered a bunch of people for Madara Uchiha, as they say these days. And Naruto was like, I forgive you. That's crazy to think about, right? That's crazy because, Kimaya, this isn't real. This shit doesn't exist. We would never do this in real life, but this is a fantasy world where these kind of possibilities you think about could happen for this kind of scenario. So we'll do intros first, and then we'll just talk a little bit more. So we'll start with our guest here tonight, Jason Hunt, SciFi4Me.
Yes.
I know you're a huge Tom King fan. I know you're a diehard Tom King fan. I know you love him. And I know you love Alex Kurtzman. I know you just love Star Trek.
All right, if MSK is saying that, then that means you hate Tom King. In which case, Jason, we can be best friends.
Wait, Jason's mine. You call dibs on him?
Oh, screw you!
All right. So, yeah. Hi. This is my second time here, and I survived the first time. I think I'll do okay tonight. So, I have been running SciFi4Me for now for 17 years. I am the host of Live from the Bunker, which is about to have our 1000th episode here coming up in the next 30 days or so. We talk
great.
science fiction, fantasy, horror, video games, tabletop, comic books, and I topped out in my anime with Battle of the Planets and Star Blazers. So I'm a little behind all the you guys. But
that's fair. Late 90s, early 2000s. That's where a lot of people. Yeah, that's fair.
No. No. This goes back for that. I'm talking 70s.
Okay.
I'm old, but I've been in media production since 1988, and I've been around a little bit. So yeah, Battle of the Planet, Star Blazers. I peaked at the Atari 2600. I still have my ET game and it still works. So that's
why are you such a boomer,
I'm
Jason?
vintage.
You're such a you're literally what kids call a boomer or a unk status. That's what they say.
I'm Gen X. I'm not quite old enough to be a boomer.
You're like unk status technically.
Yeah, there we go.
God. Well, Jared, how was your week, man? Still going on Twitter and calling people stupid for liking Bat Wonder?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
so
God.
I got my polls. I got a couple of.
What did you get?
Okay, so all right. So I pre-ordered this because they have this dope, giant, enormous version of Wonder Woman: Spirit of Truth by Alex Ross.
I saw that. It's beautiful.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I got this special hardcover version of Identity Crisis, which I have the issues. I just never had a trade.
That's fine.
I got this classic Silver Age collection of the original Justice League of America stories.
Oh, I got that too. I bought
really
that.
good.
Yeah.
And I got the trade for Imperial. I got, and in terms of my pull list, Absolute Martian Manhunter, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman World's Finest, Batwoman, Captain Marvel, Dark Past, Comics the Magazine, Detective Comics, Fantastic Four, Ghost Machine, Green Lantern, Iron Man, Justice League, Lobo, New Avengers.
Read those?
Yes.
I thought you, as a comic book fan, remember that take we had? Remember that take that happened on Twitter that became big?
Oh, you mean the take where people are saying, do we have to actually read comics to be a comic book fan? Do you mean that take? Yeah, but on average per month, I read 30 to 40 comics and graphic novels, at least for my channel, because I'm a very comic book heavy channel, as you guys can tell. So I kind of have to. And besides that, I started a new job, and I'm doing
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Well at it. But as far as like content stuff, I actually got to interview Stephanie Williams last week and talked about her take on Wonder Woman. She's a pretty decent writer. And I continue doing what I call the Lord's work and exposing to people how much Tom King sucks at writing Wonder Woman.
Did you see that thing he said? Yeah, I was like...
So the funny part about that statement, MSK, is that so he basically says that like Wonder Woman is like will always pick peace first, and because it's failing when she picks war. And I'm like, hey, a-hole, why did you have her make the guy carve liar on his chest, punch her mother in the face, and basically deflect bullets into Mouse Man, or threaten Mouse Man, saying, hey, I could leave you here with your people, or I could bring you to the Amazons where they'll torture you.
Wasn't this the same run where she was talking about eating rats?
Yeah.
That's just disgusting.
So I'm like, it's one of those occasions where he says stuff. Here's the thing: the run gets worse, not necessarily when people when you read the run. It gets worse when he talks about it.
Yeah, I have heard some people say the first like few couple issues aren't that bad.
The first trade is okay. It's not, because that's the only thing I would change is move the Cancer Kid issue to the very beginning. So that's the first time you see Wonder Woman. But besides that, it's like, it's not the worst. It's just then when you get past that first trade, that's when the cracks start to show. And then again, you get to Wonder Woman, I think it was 19. That was my like breaking point where I was like, no, it's like at that point, he basically stopped caring. The answer is he did.
I'm not sure that there's any point in any of these runs where Tom King is caring about any of these characters.
I would come to a similar consensus, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah.
The actual interesting thing about it is that it's been said that what Tom King does is he just has a couple of story ideas on his computer, and then whenever character he's assigned, he just forces them in there.
I have heard
allegedly, yes.
Yeah.
At least from my research, and this I'm just gonna, since we're talking about Tom King, the only one you could say that wasn't definitively his fault, at least objectively, is how his Batman run fell off because of all the editorial stuff that goes on at the time and the major shift they tried to do for 5G. Even with that, the run is still mid. Even if you remove all the 5G setup, the run is mid, and it ends on a poor note. I'm not going to say it's outright bad. It just ends on a poor note because, you know what? I'll bring it up since we're actually talking about it. How, even in a scenario where this is like Bruce is cuts a deal with Joker, avenges Alfred, and lays low, as we see in Batman Catwoman. And then, first of all, one, if Bruce was tempted to break his no-kill rule, he would do the deed himself. And two, there's no way Joker would honor that deal. Or y'all get what I'm saying? Like a deal that, I'll let you walk away and leave town if you avenge Alfred and take out Bane for me and agree to never show your face in Gotham again. Joker would never honor that deal.
Yeah.
Like the very fact that you would even insinuate, I don't care if Batman Catwoman was a pity series. The moment, because in a scenario, we're tying this to 5G and all this stuff where Batman and Catwoman, all this stuff, in Tom King's run, if 5G didn't happen. No.
Well, okay, so here's my question. The Batman Catwoman run that came out of that happened because the
main book,
the hue and cry over the wedding that didn't happen in issue 50.
Yes.
Suddenly the Batman run is, Tom King has poisoned the well, so they moved him off that book as a consequence.
Yep.
And he got to tell this Batman Catwoman thing off to the side where it doesn't matter anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Okay. All right.
What had happened is because he got to tell a story. It's, in other words, so here's the funny thing about it. So my friend interviewed Tom King and was talking about that run. And one of the things he says, because King has this goal that he wants to write 100 issues of each of the Trinity members. And I'm like, well, that's definitely not going to, it didn't happen with Batman. It's not going to happen with Wonder Woman, because from what I hear, you're off at 40. And I doubt they'll give you Superman. But it's like, the point is that when someone brought up Batcat, is because that was originally, he said, well, this is just me basically completing my Batman run. But then it's like, no, I still want the 100 issues. And I'm like, bro. And the thing you have to understand about Tom King, he will take credit for something if it goes well. But the minute he gets any backlash, like, here's an example of this. So one of the characters he includes in his Wonder Woman run that basically does all the heavy lifting is Detective Chimp. Now, at the time, he said he did that because it was his way of pitching to the fans him writing a Detective Chimp book. But when he got backlash for doing so, all of a sudden, that was Daniel Sampere's idea.
And granted, the art is good. It's just the writing is subpar, but the art is fantastic.
The art even has declined, because here's the thing. When you look at Sampere's art on like the Superman Spider-Man book is solid. When you look at the Wonder Woman, everything looks so stiff. That's even more to tell me, I think that Daniel just wants to see it through and he's done.
I will say this now, in terms of I don't know about Wonder Woman because I'm not as well entrenched as you are in your source, Jared. So I will commend you for that.
Thank you.
But at least with the Batman run, he was contracted for up to 100 issues. That was his contract for his exclusivity for DC. He was cut short. Yes, the backlash from the Batcat wedding that didn't happen was a factor, but the book declined so bad that they just dumped him off the book. So to appease him, they gave him a maxi pity series, which was Batman Catwoman. That's pretty much the gist of what happened.
That was my impression at the time of what happened there.
Yes. Now, as for Wonder Woman, I mean, I don't think Tom King has nowhere near the same grace he did back in 2016 in terms of editorial, nor the fans. I just don't think he has.
Here's the thing: if you look at a Supergirl book that everyone points to, it's like, oh look, it's the greatest thing ever. You have to realize that book was in the dollar bin until it was announced to be a DCU movie. It didn't even have a hardcover edition.
I will now. This is just what I've heard off the grapevine. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I would say some of my sources would say that Tom King was made a movie consultant as a mean for the DCU as a means to push him out of the comics division.
Because that's true, it's working. I can
see that.
Yeah, because otherwise they would have to buy out his exclusivity contract.
Because he did say that he's having to, because that's the public reason why he's thinking of stepping away from Wonder Woman, because because of all the stuff that's being adapted, that's of his stuff. He wants to step away from the comics and focus on that. In which case, I'm like, woohoo, see you later. But I'm like, the thing is, he keeps doing stuff that, like, I have a big theory that I think that as soon as he leaves Wonder Woman, I think they will retcon out Wonder Woman's daughter. They will treat this run like it never existed, because from what I've heard from my sources at DC, DC themselves are not happy about the creative direction of the run, and conversations are being held.
Possibly. And
it's not possibly. It's from it's from people. I talked to people that would know.
Okay, I'm not dissing your sources. Let me be clear on that. Mm-hmm. But at least from what I've seen, because again, I don't really I've fallen off of the Wonder Woman book. I'll openly admit that. But I don't really see Trinity as a bad character herself. She's Super Sons adjacent. Like, they wanted to bring Super Sons back, but they didn't want to commit to de-aging or telling stories prior to the age up. So they're trying to create a Trinity in that dynamic. No pun intended. But for what it is, it's fine. Is it gonna hit? Is it gonna be the next big thing since sliced bread? No. But if Trinity was actually treated its own thing and not bogged down as a backup or a subplot of the Wonder Woman run, it would have done decent at least.
Do you know her whole reason for existing? Because Batman and Superman have kids. That's what Tom King says. Now, I get that that's the DC internal reason for that. You don't say that publicly. You say, you know what, I thought that, you know what, Wonder Woman's existed for this long. She's had kids in other canon. I think it's time, because I want to see how would the character of Diane do with motherhood. No, it's because Batman and Superman have kids. And then when they did a Trinity Daughter Wonder Woman series, he goes, no, it's about fathers and daughters, because he really wants to write about Steve Trevor, because he self-inserts into Steve Trevor, because Steve Trevor's in the military.
Yeah, because Tom King was in the CIA.
Yeah. Because that's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, and Jay Heat, I think you're onto something there as far as, you know, pushing Tom King out. We're seeing the same kind of thing with Alex Kurtzman over at Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You have this potential, and I emphasize potential.
Of course.
Rumored first look deal for CBS Paramount, in order to get him to surrender all of his rights to new Trek, Kurtzman Trek, and everything reverts back to CBS Paramount, and he no longer does anything with Star Trek. And that's the deal. Now, what I got told last week was that his sticking point is, I'll take the deal if it includes season 3 of Starfleet Academy. And Skydance says that ain't gonna happen, and so Kurtzman has walked away, and so there's not going to be any deal. So right now, what I'm hearing from one of my sources, and I cannot confirm it, so it's rumor, very much rumor, is Kurtzman is not welcome on the lot. There is currently no deal in place other than what already exists that's going to expire end of July into August. And essentially, Skydance is thinking about suing Kurtzman and Secret Hideout for fiduciary irresponsibility and doing harm to the brand.
Or general incompetence, but I agree.
And because he got told there are certain things that we must do because of what we told the FCC we were going to do prior to getting approved for Skydance to buy out Cherry Redstone. And Kurtzman has not been doing any of the stuff he's been told we have to do because the FCC told us we have to do this stuff. So they've got him. I think they're trying to find ways to get out of the contract now. The new offer for the First Look deal would have superseded and replaced that one and gotten the Star Trek rights back in the hands of CBS now as opposed to the end of the year. Where everything is right now is really up in the air, but it's the same kind of thing like what you're talking about with Tom King is we're going to give him another deal and everybody's going to throw their hands up. It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you rewarding him? He's failing upwards. Well, it's to get him off of the thing where he's doing the most damage.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for that add-on, Jason. It's an honor and I appreciate it. But to add on to what I was saying, I'll use another example. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Gotham Knight. Now, the show is infamous, don't get me wrong, but the showrunners for that show were leftovers from Batwoman season 2 because they were commissioning in season 3 at the time before they shadow canned it. On the off chance the Ellisons or any of the higher ups would Paramount are watching this, like if at all, take the buyout. Just buy out his contract and kick him to the curb. It's not worth it. Just take if the merger with Warner Brothers goes through, you'll make the money back. Just cut your losses and buy him out. It's not worth it.
Do you know what I think happens for a lot of these guys now? Like they're keeping controversial people around. I truly feel like they think that if they have a controversial person around, that it actually brings them sales.
Marketing.
Yeah, but what they think is that infinitely just goes no. That goes one or two ways. Either it completely just tanks to the ground, or it just goes up.
Well, here's the thing.
I've not really seen that work ever in that favor of it going up.
Here's the thing. That's like Marvel saying that like we like to piss people off in our marketing because at least they're not apathetic. That could only take you so long because
right.
The audience is smarter than the studios give them credit for. So when the audience detects that you're just doing this controversy, keeping on a controversial person for controversy's sake, they can sniff it like a bloodhound. And then it's like, okay, then screw you. I'm done. If all you care about is angering me, that eventually that leads to apathy.
Yeah, like
I agree.
Yeah, because you could get to a Joe Quesada, Spider-Man a la One More Day situation where a lot of people just went
easily.
But crazy what that guy did? He was like, you know what? Yes, I ruined Spider-Man. Guys, I'm not making this up. This is basically perfect with what he had said. He was basically being a sarcastic asshole about basically, okay, because people say he ruined Spider-Man. And then he said, I ruined Spider-Man, yet Spider-Man has all these movies and TV shows. And like, whoa, that does not work that way.
Well, okay? The funny part is that look at all those movies and TV shows. Who is Spider-Man with in all those movies and TV shows? Mary Jane effing Watson!
Also, I don't know if he understands this because he's retarded. These studios have long moved away that comic books get people fans of these characters. Literally, that Spider-Man PS4 game they dropped like 5 years ago probably got more fans of Peter Parker and Spider-Man than any recent comic book.
Exactly.
The studios have known that for years. Why do people think Warner Brothers made Superman 78 when they did, or Batmania with Michael Keaton? They realized that
comics aren't enough anymore.
You can't just get enough. You can't get enough exposure with comic books to make more fancy people. So even if Joe Quesada would say, "Yeah, Spider-Man has had all these Joe, you do know that Sony was going to produce those movies no matter what.
Let me counter that point for a second because this is something that we talked about a number
disagreement.
of
Let him.
So, if you want to sell comic books, and you've got the normies that are going to the movies, they want to see Thor, they want to see Batman, they want to see what you do. If I'm the marketing guy at DC or I'm the marketing guy at Marvel, I'm putting a kiosk out in every movie theater lobby that's got comic books. Hey, you're coming to see Thor movie? Here's some Thor comic books.
Here's the other thing.
Let him finish.
Here's the other thing.
That's what you got to do. And the other part of that was if I go to the Hulk movie and then I go to the comic book shop. Well, who's this Amadeus Cho cat?
Exactly. That was my point.
There's got to be synergy there.
It's like how many people went into a comic book store after Thor 2 and were like, I want to read Thor. Who's this girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
and walked away.
Jane's Thor.
It's crazy.
Who's Riri Williams?
Isn't that crazy? Because that omnibus is the second omnibus in Jason Aaron's run. Before it had like the God Butcher story arc and everything that was completely a lot of people loved. But my thing is what I wanted to say to that point, not your guys's, but to be fair, it's all the same thing, I guess. It's one of these things where it's like, okay, Sony is going to make those movies whether or not Spider-Man had tanked in comic book sales, regardless, because they know that is their cash cow. And keep in mind, Warner Brothers, I would imagine, will produce more Batman movies in the future because they realize that Batman comics aren't going to get more people fans of Batman. And even if they are, it's so minuscule compared to like, it's just like I think Jay brings up a lot in his shows too. Normies have a very small barrier of entry with that stuff. Okay, so like, how many fans did Marvel create for the X-Men with the X-Men animated series, as far as like comparing that to like Giant Size X-Men #1 hitting? I would imagine, and no offense to Giant Size X-Men, it was very monumental and it was very good for the time period, but I would imagine
relatively small.
That animated series created way more fans than that comic book. And I'm not disrespecting Chris Claremont or anyone that's done legendary stuff in the industry. It's just such more it's such an easier barrier of entry to get people fans of these characters with animation and live action. It just is. So like when he's saying like, well, Spider-Man has all this stuff, it's gonna have that stuff regardless, though.
Well,
it is. Sorry.
Well, the other part of that too is if you're a fan of the filmed media stuff, then you only have to have a certain amount of working knowledge to follow the stories. You know, you don't have to have 30 years of lore and reading all of these books in order to understand what's going on. Whereas if I'm going to be I'm a new comic book reader and I pick up a comic book that's number 1200 in a run of a long story, like DC
that's overwhelming.
The Superman with like the Diamond era for Superman, right? The Triangle area, where one book goes to the next is this long serialized thing. If I just pick this up, I'm in the middle of something. I have no idea what's going on. With movies and the TV shows, it's easier to jump on board as a new person just getting familiar with this. I can start with episode 1 and I can go through episode 6 or episode 10, however much is in the run, and I know everything that I need to know is in that show.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying that these shows should be dumbed down for people. I'm speaking purely from a business perspective. It was way more financially, I wouldn't say feasible. It's supposed to say it's just you can create it's way more impactful to the average person is to just kind of create something in a medium of television and movies than a comic book run. Because as you guys have always said, because we read a lot of this stuff, comic books only go so far. Yeah, even if they were in Walmarts and all, it's only going to go so far. But keep in mind, everyone's going to watch a new trailer for a Spider-Man movie. Actually, Spider-Man's 4th movie, which is this crazy thing about. That Spider-Man trailer has more views on it than Avengers movies did. If you don't remember, when Avengers movies trailers dropped, the whole world just went. The fact that one guy can just beat all of those guys is insane. That is crazy. I'd imagine if I was a parent, I took my kid to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. They had never seen a Spider-Man movie in their entire life. That movie would make them a fan of Spider-Man than me just giving them a comic book. Just would. Because it's easier. I just go to the movie, watch it. Honey, did you like it? Yes, Daddy, I loved it. There you go. He's a fan for life. It's that simple.
Okay, 2 things.
Okay.
Hello? Well, I'm black, so I won't be my kid's life. I'm a leaf.
2 things. The younger kids, the generational capture is not happening. Because the younger kids, the Gen Z, the millennials, and younger Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, they are not paying attention to film media at all. They're on TikTok, social media. YouTube, they are on social media, and like you guys were talking about before, their reality is the social media.
Yes,
they're not going out and touching grass. They're touching the virtual grass in Minecraft. They're spending so much time in these 8-second sound bites, 8-second attention span. They're not watching stuff. So it's really hard to get generational capture for new fans. One of the mistakes that the comic book industry made was going strictly with graphic novels. Hey, we can sell in the bookstores. And they took the spinner racks out of the convenience stores, out of the 7-Elevens and whatnot. Because how many of us found comic books that way?
So many.
You walk into 7-Eleven, you're going
book
to
fairs,
Snickers, and oh, hey, what is this? Oh, hey,
a
this
Snickers.
Is Superman. This looks really cool. So that needs to come back. the specialty comic book shops, sure, your local comic book shops, they need to stay in
Right.
business.
Yeah.
But you need to put spinner racks back in the convenience stores, in the dime stores, and wherever else, so that you can find those new younger readers
and catch them that
kids
way.
Comics that needs to be there, and none of these publishers understand that.
Yeah, and the other thing to bring up with a lot of this stuff, people you got and some retard is going to be like, well, that means you said because they should make a lot of movies and animation, they should no. They should respect the source material. I do think this is like the only fandom I've ever seen that actually advocate for less faithful shit. I understand not everything translates, but that doesn't mean you just do a bunch of random stupid shit, though. Also, that keep in mind, a lot of people just can't process more than one thought. You see how dumb people are these days. They can't process more than one thought. Yes, okay. An example, Civil War is not a great adaptation of that book.
Oh, no.
But it's a great movie.
Right?
That's the thing on the adaptation.
Two things!
I'm fine if they make those types of changes, as long as it keeps the general gist of the story. The gist is Tony Stark and Iron Man are at war over a law that will require superheroes to register with a government. Okay, that's fine. You got the basic plot. I don't have to see Prison 42 in order for it to be a faithful adaptation of Civil War. I'm fine with that.
I'm not in Cell Block 1, Jared.
The one, no, I will say that 20. Spoilers for a 20-year comic. The only fault in that story is that editorial sees the opportunity to make a publicity stunt out of it, forcibly have Peter expose his identity, and then we end up getting Mephisto and more day and pretty much this downward spiral we've been in the past 15 to 20 years. But other than that, Civil War 1 is a solid story. Now, Civil War 2 was hot garbage, and I will be the first to admit that.
I blacked out. It's like when you go from like The Descent to The Descent 2. It's like, you know what? I don't acknowledge you at all. It's also one of these things where, just like Civil War, for example, like I said, as long as you have like the essence of the idea of the story there, it can work. But I will also be fair here. You shouldn't always do that, because then you kind of tell people that source material just doesn't kind of matter. But it just depends. I'm not saying it should be super lopsided. I'm saying you can have both approaches as long as the ideas are presented in a way that's consumable. Yeah, I did like the idea that they didn't reveal Spider-Man's identity in Civil War. That's actually a good thing. You know, there are some changes you can make that can work, right? I'd imagine, let's see. No, because that was Amazing Spider-Man issue, 400 or something like that, where they revealed that Aunt May always knew that he was Spider-Man or some shit like that. These things probably wouldn't go well with other people. Probably not. No. Maybe not do a movie based off Sin's past. That would actually make people riot in the streets.
Oh, no. MSK, you are playing with fire. I know you're joking, but you are playing with fire.
Well, and the other thing with Civil War and doing faithful adaptations, for a long while, Marvel didn't have the rights to all of their characters.
That is true.
And they still don't with Spider-Man.
Right.
And Sony is going to be making Spider-Man movies in order to keep the rights to the Spider-Man movies. Same with Constantine Films doing Fantastic Four. They are always going to be doing that, even if they spend $1 million for Roger Corman to do it and they don't plan to release it. But they do these things to maintain the rights. But with Civil War, where's the Fantastic Four?
Exactly.
You can only do so much if you can't use certain characters in certain ways. I mean, the Avengers, the X-Men. Yeah. They had to fudge Wanda and Pietro because they're Avengers and they're also mutants. So you could only present them a certain way for Marvel to do it. And the X-Men got them a different way. It was like, really?
Well, that the only reason why Civil War happened was because Batman versus Superman was announced.
Yeah, and the only reason we got Batman versus Superman because Superman Man of Steel didn't do as well as anybody wanted to, and they said, now with more Batman. And they decided to jump to that. But
what if they barely had that voice?
You can't do Batman versus Superman without 40 years of friendship and relationship between those two characters to earn it. That's Dark Knight Returns.
And before you do Dark Knight Returns, because I know at least there's going to be one Snyder bro in the comments, so I might as well say it now. It only works in the context of that story. Thank you, Jared. It only works in the context of that story. Two major factors. One, either Clark is a government stooge or is being outright blackmailed by the government with his parents, depending on the adaptation. And two, It's due to a relative decline in heroes in vigilante, so you still need some kind of bloody setup.
Well, the thing is, like, the reason why BVS happened was because excuse me, getting over cold. So thank you. So Man of Steel happened, and it did well enough actually that Warner Brothers wanted to just skip to their, because Zach has been very clear he wanted to do all that build up to like all the different movies
organically.
So so when they told him, no, you have to get to the Justice League now, he was like, what's the fastest way I can introduce all these elements and put them together? Batman, Superman fight. They bring all the Justice League members. So I understand that from a degree. I do agree with you. It needed more of a setup, because that's even what Marvel did back. Marvel had it harder. But the thing is, when I brought back Civil War is because here's the thing. Imagine how much better Civil War the movie would be if we had let's say immediately pre-Endgame or something like that, when you had all these other a lot of the more other characters that we had, because we could have reintroduced the Fantastic Four there instead of after. We could have had all these other characters that could have played a role in it, like even Carol Danvers.
Let me add to that thought. Again, they have to do this with Spider-Man because Sony defaults and owns the rights. They had to do this with Spider-Man, but heavy conglomerate studios cannot afford licensing deals to that degree because it just eats up a huge chunk of the budget. That's why they didn't do it with Fantastic Four, because Fantastic Four's IP was in a relative decline after Fan Forced it, and it just wasn't worth it. Universal just didn't bother at all. They just wrote it out until the rights defaulted back to Marvel, because they would have. Because even if they did, unless they actually did Sony and commissioned the movie themselves, they weren't going to get any. Most of the money from the licensing fee from Marvel would have just gone in production cost anyway. And Universal's been in a decline without Harry Potter to carry them.
I was going to add to your thing. There's a reason why, and I love these movies. I truly do. The Sonic movies. There's a reason why they actually don't use the music from the games. It apparently costs so much money. Yeah, it costs so much money. I was like, fuck, that sucks. That is the only thing I could ever select those movies is not using the games music. But I understand it from a
3 did.
Kind of. Unless you count that ringtone. Then
that's a glorified cover.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
A 30-minute snippet, and it might as well have been a cover.
That counts, Jay Heat. Stop being nothing is ever good enough for you.
No, I'm saying
you gotta believe.
I was like, does a ringtone for 10 seconds count? I mean,
yes, it does. If it's from the game, it's the soundtrack of the game.
Jared, if I was banging my wife right now, and I only lasted 4 seconds, 2 strokes minimum, does that count as sex?
No, we all know you prefer the sweaty men. We all know you prefer the sweaty men.
Hey, I'm just saying, if she blows her load, does that mean I won in that case?
No.
Oh. Whose side are you on?
Whatever side you're not on. How's that?
But another thing with comic books is it's no wonder that the compact comics are selling so well. It's like, page per price count. That's a great idea. The compact comics were a fantastic idea. It's just that the Absolute Universe, the compact comic thing, I'm kind of wondering in my head at some point something will give. It will not do as well as it's doing right now. Keep in mind, they're going to have to make up another idea to get more people interested in this stuff, because as we all know, we've seen it. Remember when Brian and Michael Bendis started the Ultimate Universe? Eventually that did at some point have a decline. This will at one point have a decline. We just don't know when. We're kind of just guessing about, I'll say 3 to 5 years. That's a relative time, right? 3 to 5 years is not that bad. Maybe less, maybe more, give or take.
I'm curious about this rumor that Scott Snyder is about to get promoted to DC and given a bunch of responsibility for that. I'm wondering what's up with that.
Oh boy.
Well, you know why? Boy. It's because the Absolute Universe is kind of like his baby, and that is really like what's holding DC and why DC is like doing so well in Marvel. So I get from a monetary perspective why, and Scott Snyder has kind of grown to be like the Stan Lee of DC, and that he's the one hyping people up about the comics. So it makes sense about that. It's the problem with Scott Snyder, and my co-host summarizes this perfectly. He's the Michael Bay of comics.
Wait a minute. Ever disrespect my GOAT, Michael Jalen Fox? I'm just kidding. I don't know his middle name.
No. What I mean by that is that he'll do stuff just because it's cool. Like, oh, this Batman that was like turned into the Joker. Let's put him in 8,000 different things.
I'm looking at Michael Bay's middle name.
I'm only gonna say this once, Jared. I can understand Scott Snyder, being very credited. He's kind of like the number one guy right now. But the very fact that you would compare him to a prime Stan Lee is blasphemy.
That's what he has been calling the internet, Jay Heat. So get off my tail.
Michael Bay's middle name is Benjamin.
Really? I did not.
I'm not
know
kidding.
that.
His actual middle.
Michael Ben. Michael Ben.
Crazy? It was crazy because, Jason, you used to watch TV shows back in the day, and like if parents scolding their kid, they'd be like, Jason Huntsman the Fourth, Mr.
Michael Benjamin Bay.
His name is Benjamin. Oh no, you have to lose.
That's like in Glass, Kevin Michael Crumb. Now it's Michael Benjamin Bay.
So if he directs a movie, is he Michael Bay if it's good, or is he Michael Benjamin if it's
Michael Benjamin Bay? How could you make Transformers 5?
That was Benjamin Michael Bay. That wasn't Michael Bay.
That was Ben Bay.
So Jared, I wanted to ask you. So since what Sci-Fi just said, is Scott Snyder going to be kind of like in a position that Jim Lee's in, kind of like that?
I wouldn't say necessarily that. I could see him more as being. Because I feel like he's going to be in the position that Jim Lee should be in. But the problem with Jim Lee is that, from what I hear, he doesn't really do a lot of the executive work.
Okay.
Because it's like, I've heard that, like, even in meetings, he's just doodling. He's not actually doing stuff, which
explains a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
When they restructured DC, a couple of years ago, Jim Lee is creative, and they've got somebody else in charge of business.
Right. Yeah. He's chief creative officer, and there's someone else for I see your point. It's like, because I'll be honest here, Scott Snyder was talking about having some like imposter syndrome on like another podcast he had appeared on, because and to be fair, I agree. He actually got way better with doing podcasts. Actually, dude, I love this guy. I really do. But Josh Troy Williamson, you are a charisma vacuum. I'll be honest here. If he was ever on a show, I couldn't talk to him. He'd be like, have you ever had those podcasts with people where you're like having a one-on-one? And you're like, hey, what's your favorite movie? I like that one. Any reason? No. Yeah, no. That can't be someone that is talking about the company. Sorry, Josh, you can't be that way. But
Jason. Sorry, before we move on, Jason, Jason, I wanted to ask you this as well, Jason. Who, in your opinion, was the worst editor-in-chief? Dan DiDio or Paul Levitz?
Oh, boy.
Out of the two, I'd probably say DiDio. Because Paul Levitz, Paul Levitz is coming in from that time where, Julie Schwartz, Jeanette Kahn, that era is a completely different comic book company
vibe
back then. And Dan, for all of the success that DiDio had, he's also gave us New 52.
That is true.
And
that is true.
That, I think, that killed his career.
What killed his career was 5G. New 52, by all indicator, actually saved the company because AT&T came to them and said, you need to improve your sales now. We're just going to outsource the comics. So they rebooted. They got the sales boost. Granted, it didn't last because it's like they didn't have a plan. Yeah. But saying New 52 was like the reason why he got fired, I don't think that's necessarily that fair.
5G especially, but at least with New 52, they made the best out of a bad situation. I will
5G, everyone, when it leaked out what that was like, do not do this.
Yeah, I remember.
Wait a minute. If you're all on 5G, are you on Metro PCS, AT&T's friend? You guys send me up for that joke.
Too easy of a joke.
That's like a Batman 66 level joke.
Yeah. You guys set me up. I will say, Wikipedia is all types of trash. But I want you guys to read what they said about this guy. Michael Benjamin Bay is an American film director and producer. He is best known for making big budget, high concept action films.
What? Hang on. Let me interject here, because high concept is a very specific term in filmmaking.
You have to forgive us.
That's like saying you made Gladiator.
It doesn't mean high quality. High concept means the kind of idea they're doing. It's an ambitious, big,
I like how they're throwing backward shade at him.
High concept is a very specific term in filmmaking.
God.
So just
thank you. Come again.
Doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's a specific type of story you're telling.
Almost lost it when I was reading that.
Breathe. MSK, breathe.
Best known for high concept action films with fast cutting, stylistic cinematography and visuals, and extensive use of special effects.
Yeah, and MSK, if you bring that Wikipedia back up, when you roll over high concept, it gives you a definition there.
You're right. Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, Michael Bay, the high concept connoisseur.
It's a little funny. It's a little funny.
It is a little funny when you're. Come on, this guy made fucking Armageddon and Pearl Harbor. To be fair, I will give him a lot of credit. He does make movies that have a lot of appeal with people, and that's very hard to do. It's very hard to get an audience when you're kind of new to this stuff, or when you're because like there's directors that have been in this game for a long time that have like no one even knows their names. Like you'll say like, hey, this guy directed this famous movie. You're like who? I will say. I'll give him credit. He does make movies a lot of people like or hate. He either love to hate him or hate to love him. Yeah.
He's right in the middle.
And that's hard to do because like a lot, Jared, I know you're a kind of a new creative to this thing too. And sci-fi, he's written books too. And Jay, he has a YouTube channel. People do not actually know. It's very hard to get people interested in what you're doing. Whether you're doing content, writing a book, making a comic book, doing podcasts. I cringe so hard when someone says, "Oh, all you're doing is sitting in a chair and just talking in a microphone." I could do that too. Okay, if you can do it,
do it.
Better, go and do it. Prove it. Just go do it.
There's a reason why they tell you less than 10% of YouTube channels are monetized because people give up.
Podcast statistics. I'm glad you brought it up. The average, the minimum podcast number for an average person with a podcast. Just take a guess, guys. Take a guess.
200 subscribers.
No, a podcast number. Like say you're doing podcast episodes like I'm doing. What's the minimum you think?
At least 20 episodes.
Okay. Sci-fi.
I couldn't even begin to guess.
Jared?
30.
The minimum, the actual smallest is 3. The minimum is around 10. I'm not kidding. The minimum is 3 and the maximum is like 10. Average people at around 10 stops.
Man, I just recorded 315.
Yeah, that's crazy. As you know me, dude, I've had many podcasts going like in the 600s. Actually, it's like I'm able to understand. It's okay. How would I explain this to the average stupid person?
The way I kind of do it when I tell people, okay, if you want to do a podcast, do it on something you genuinely love. Because here's why: there will be times when it feels like no one's watching your content. I went through, particularly when you're starting off. I'm sure everyone here has went through that.
At least once.
Yeah, at least once.
But if it's on something you like and that you just really love to talk about, you'll get through those times because you're just doing it because you love to talk about it. Then eventually, more people will start to show up because they'll like your energy. Then all of a sudden, you get momentum. Now you have an audience. It's going to take some time. The problem is too many people see like those very rare stories of content creators getting a million subscribers in a month and think that's the average. And I'm like, no, that's not.
And half the time, I'll let you in on a deep secret. I know.
Half the time they buy subscribers.
Exactly. Half the time, the bot buying is this.
They're buying Indians? Crazy.
Not that kind of bot.
I gave the game away. I'm sorry.
Bro.
Sorry.
No. But and I have heard stories of content creators who who may or may not had to have done it. Again, I'm not naming names. All I'm saying is it happens. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I agree. It's one of these things where I tell people, okay, so I'll just bring it up right here. So if anyone thinks I'm lying, to be fair, I slightly a little bit wrong. They actually have updated it. At one point, it was 10.
To an extent, Nemo. To an extent, not because there are some clout chasers there.
He's right. Yeah, he's right. Hey, Jared's got clout, and so does Sci-Fi and J Heat. I'm like a clout vacuum. I just suck it all up. Actually, just kidding. So at one point, this was 10. They've actually updated it. So the vast majority of podcasts do not last beyond 20 episodes.
There you go.
Keep in mind. That's the maximum for this now. And at one point it was 10 because there's more people doing it now. Okay, so I'd imagine that's probably the reason why. With nearly 90% of shows failing to pass their first few episodes, often stalling out by episode 3. That means the minimum is still 3. So I'm still right. The minimum is still 3. The maximum now is 20. Data indicates that only about 9% of podcasts make it to 50 episodes, and just over 6% reach 100. Yep, these haven't changed. The only thing that's changed is this. So like maximum is 20, minimum is 3. That's bad. Do you know why? As Jared said, a lot of people pick topics you can't talk about them often. Like, so like, let's say I ran a podcast where I ran a mental health podcast, some gay shit like that, where, Jared, I want you to tell me how Wonder Woman touched you. Yeah, that probably would make me want to hide myself. Sorry. It just
here's the advantage of what like I talk about. There's always new comic books coming out, so you can find something to talk about practically every week.
Right, yeah. And if you're talking about movies and TV shows, well, there's a bunch of people that
there's always trailers that come out, particularly if you want to talk about how bad they are.
Yeah. It's people are picking subjects that you could only maybe have like an episode a month minimum.
Well, you know what that is. They see all these big podcasts that probably show up in like their like news feed that have like all these big subscribers. Yeah. So they think if they start talking about those topics, maybe they can learn to like be interested in it. I'm like, no,
it doesn't work that way.
You have to be passionate about what you're talking about first.
Yeah.
Because when I started mine, literally all it was my co-host and I just having the regular conversations that we would have at school. That's it.
That's how you should start. Yeah. And then you kind of polish it a little bit. You have topics, you have a structure. But I want people to understand, like, just looking at it, because this has actually been updated, 2.5% reach 200 episodes. 2.5. That is
sad.
Crazy. And keep in mind, a lot of different reasons. People sometimes I'll be honest here, this is one of the few fields, if you only get into it for money,
you'll never
be very disappointed.
You need some outside, because here's the thing about that. Even the big channels that supposedly are like full-time YouTubers, they have Patreon, they have other stuff, because YouTube takes a lot of your revenue.
Yeah, you're not even making that from the podcast. You're making that from outside sources for income. Yeah.
And you're just balancing yourself out to maintain eligibility half the time.
90%.
Something that people don't understand when you get into this, you're in the long. It's a long game.
Yeah. Yes.
I have been in advertising and made TV commercials for people, and they want instant results. They want we're going to run a TV commercial, and I want 3,000 people walking in my door tomorrow. And I every single time I have to tell the client it doesn't work that way. You don't get immediate results unless you're running a sale. Otherwise, what you're going for is top of mind awareness. You're going to do something here, and you're probably not going to see results for 6 months. But consistency is the key. As long as you keep running TV commercials, at some point, people are going to come in and say, hey, I saw your TV commercial. But it's not going to be an immediate thing. And so many of them says, well, I didn't see any results. You ran that spot for 2 weeks. And that's it. And then you quit. That doesn't work that way.
Oh,
Same
another
thing here. If you're running a podcast, you're doing a live stream or whatever, you've got to maintain your momentum.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff that's now in your back catalog, when somebody finds your show, hey, I like what this guy's doing. I like what these people are talking about. Now they go back and they listen to some of the old stuff.
Yep.
And you get some depth there and some longevity there, especially if anything that you're talking about is evergreen.
Now, this is what I always said, because my brother Hunter from Kid Takeoff, he's been back and forth, and I always have to motivate him. Content creation is like investing. You're going to lose a lot more before you start banking.
Let me put it this way. Yeah. It took me 5 years to get to 2.6 1,000 subscribers. Let me put it to you that way. So it's like, again, it's gonna, particularly if you're doing niches like sci-fi and like comic books and stuff, because comic books are notoriously tough to grow an audience on YouTube. Because again,
infamously so.
So it's like that's gonna take you a long time. But it's like, again, just keep at it. And if you like, to your point, Jason, consistency is the key, because not only that, YouTube themselves rewards you for consistency because inevitably you'll be put in the algorithm. Then eventually, if more people start watching your stuff, then if more people start watching your stuff, your channel starts getting like there's like a lot of my traffic views comes from my stuff showing up at like you just vanished, like let's say a comic historian video. You may like this video by this creator.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you have consistency.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is the interactions. So you know, whenever I'm live, I'm always encouraging people to participate in the chat. I'm always encouraging comments. And, you know, if you're not with us live, you can still leave a comment. You know, all of that kind of thing, because that interaction drives the algorithm. Now, having said that, the YouTube algorithm changes every 3 months.
Yeah,
and they put a different emphasis on different. You guys remember when shorts were the big rage for how long there? For about 6-8 months. It was shorts.
Hi, Sean. Hi, Shay.
Everything changes every 3 months in some way on the algorithm.
Oh, I would just add to your thing, just to add to your point. People gotta understand. Just because how would I say this though? Because a lot of people don't actually get this because they're only trying to see it through instant results. Understand this, please. You can do everything right and it still fail. That's an actual thing of life. So literally, you can do a podcast talking about the right topic at the right time and it's still not doing anything. I've had that too, because people ask me, why do I just title these episodes random shit? I'll be honest here. It doesn't really change anything. That's what I'm trying to tell people. You can do all the right things and it still not matter. Because a lot of people go, but I didn't see results like Sci-Fi said. But that's the thing though. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just like, that's just how this thing kind of works though. Sometimes you hit it big and sometimes you don't. So, and that's something that people don't understand. It always ebbs and flows. I just don't get this mindset where, you know, you also have to build I'm gonna say community people. You have to build a panel of people that you enjoy talking to. I feel like a lot of people are relying on this thing like a back in the day TV model where just having a guest will just bring you a bunch of viewers. That's not how this works at all. Actually,
well the other thing,
nothing. That's my show.
Well, the other thing is like when I started off, because I did struggle. I was one of those people that was stuck at 32 subscribers for my first year. And then when I started collabing with other creators, that's when I started gaining momentum.
That's
but
how you
people forget.
Yeah.
Here's the reason why. Here's what people don't know about that. Collabing is one thing. Having the content to make people stay is another. Because there are people that I collab with other creators, but do not experience any growth. It's because, to be frank, their content just sucks. Because you have to have content to make people stay.
Good Lord, Jared is taking all types of shots at people.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not holding back because there are too many people that a lot of times want to collab with me, and it's like to grow. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's see your content. The content won't make people stay.
Yeah, and I tell people this too. The reason typically I will always do this because it's such a courteous thing. I'll be like, hey, subscribe to Jay Heat's channel, subscribe to Sci-Fi's channel, subscribe to Jared's channel, because I want to give you guys that for being here. But I always tell people this. The reason why I typically don't do that, or I put stuff in description boxes below, it's not because I don't want to give people more exposure. That's nothing to do with that. People make their decision to subscribe to you within about like 5 seconds. You ever heard that old saying, first impressions matter? First impressions matter a lot on this stuff. If you do not give a good first impression, there's nothing that I can do to make someone subscribe to you. They're just not going to do it. Nothing I say is going to get them to do it. It just won't. Your personality, how you speak, how you carry yourself is the main reason why someone would even bother checking you out. I could say, hey, Jared gave me $1 million. Subscribe to him. Am I going to make you do it?
The other thing is like,
no, he didn't. He told me to go get on welfare.
Then you'll have creators that like cover the most niche topics that like only 2 people like, and then complain, YouTube is censoring me. And I go, maybe your content is just out of fashion.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I do that a lot here too. I'll review movies from you. Keep in mind, but you have to understand the mindset. If you're going for that perspective, like Jared said, growth, you have to do like the most recent stuff. To me, as you guys know, I'll review a comic book series from fucking 19. I don't give a fuck, honestly. But a lot of people have to understand if you're treating this like a business, you have to do the most recent thing. So let's say if Sci-Fi did a review of Starfleet Academy season 1 3 years from now, that wouldn't matter at all. You kind of missed the window for these things. Like if Jay Heat did a movie review of Spider-Man Brand New Day, but released it like in 5 years, you release the window. It's gone. That's how this thing works. You have to kind of keep in mind. People say, isn't that like grinding? Yeah. Get used to it. You're gonna learn. It's like that meme of that guy who puts his hand on the other guy's shoulder and he's just smiling. Yeah, you're gonna learn today, boy. Keep in mind, not a lot of people are kind of built for this. So when someone says like, well, I could just do it myself, that's not even just that. We're not even talking about having conversations with people. A lot of people think that stringing together a conversation, coherent thoughts, and talking is easy. No. Half the people I know couldn't do this because they've never even thought why they like a certain thing. They've never actually thought in their head why they like this the way they do. And that's why they can't have conversations with people.
Well, and the other thing,
because we've all did this.
The other thing is like people just latch on to topics, but what they forget is like, okay, yeah, you could talk about a popular topic, but what's making but what about the way you're covering it is unique. It's like with me, I focus on Superman and Wonder Woman because not enough YouTube channels do that. It's a legitimate strategy, MSK, because guess what? It's like if no one's covering that, or it's like no one's covering it to the degree you are. Guess what? You're all of a sudden unique, even in the comic book field. Because if you're just generically talking about, okay, what's Marvel and DC releasing? Yeah, that could help you out. But the way I had it related to me is, why would someone watch your specific content other than the like 8,000 other comic book channels? What makes
based
you
on what
unique?
You said? They would like your unique takes on it. That's only the reason. Next in mind, a lot of people don't actually have unique takes.
They just repeat what it's on Twitter and then call it originality.
And why do they do that? Let's be honest here. We know why they're doing it. They want Marvel and DC to send them. I'm not talking about PDFs in that manner, guys. They want Marvel and DC to send them PDFs as far as like files of comic books. They want them. They want to get either one or two things. They want access to interviews with the people that work at those companies, or they want access to the comic books that come with the previews that the major outlets get when they review them. Because why would you not be giving your opinion, though? A lot of people go, I had a guy literally say he didn't want to do comic book reviews with me. And I was like, why? He's like, well, you're a little bit too controversial. Why? Because I said how shitty Deadpool and Wolverine WW3 was? He's like, yeah, it wouldn't look good for me. Buddy, you have 30 subs.
Well, and that goes back to Last Jedi when it came out there. And I can't remember which podcast it was, but they admitted on the record that it was one of these things where they were saying the nice things about The Last Jedi in order to maintain their access to Lucas.
Christian Harloff. He said nice things about it just so he can get access to that Star Wars Celebration shit, which literally proves why you're a paid shill. That's actually what a paid shill does.
Yeah, well, and there were a couple of others that were doing that, and I can't remember which podcast it was. There's a group of them.
Was it Collider? Was it Screen Junkies?
It was crap. Now it's on the tip of my tongue and it's gone. But I remember we were talking about it at the time, and for me, my personal experience when I wrote a bad review of J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek movie, I got kicked off that media list for probably a good 6-7 years. I ended up having to communicate with a vice president of the PR company out of LA and say, hey, we used to be on your media list. It looks like we got dropped, but I don't know why we would get dropped. We'd like to be on the media list so we can review these movies. And it took a while to get back on there, but everything's fine now. And it really surprising to me when we first started out. It was really surprising to me just how easy it is to get on those media lists. Here we are, brand new, 2009. We haven't posted anything. We're not doing very much. It's a blog in a basement. I just started this thing. Even though I've got all of this time as a media person, this is my first time doing this. And it wasn't very long. It didn't take a whole lot of effort to get on Warner Brothers media list and DC's media list. All this stuff. All I had to do was contact their publicity department and say, hey, I'm running a website. We're going to start doing reviews. Can we be on your list? Sure. No vetting, no background check, no look into who it is. Now, since then, certain events have gotten a little bit more stringent in their criteria, San Diego Comic-Con, Star Wars Celebration, that kind of thing. You have to have a certain number of followers, and you got to post, share the links to some of the stuff that you've posted so they can see what kind of coverage you've got. So they're a little bit more careful, I guess. But yeah, there's still plenty of them out there.
It's all
that
optics.
Are going to say
the
things that they need to say in order to maintain the access. That's the nature of the beast
Dude,
for a lot of these
people. I remember a person. Go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
A buddy of mine, he runs the site Weird Science, and one of the things that like he said was like with DC Comics, if you gave multiple comics a below a 7 out of 10, they would DC's media people would reach out and tell you have to increase your things or going to cut you off. They told him that, and he said, "Go F yourself."
No. If I allegedly heard this, I heard Scott Snyder was someone that still would do that. Like, hey, if you don't have nothing nice to say, why are you saying anything at all? Or like, hey, why are you not giving us a more glowing review? It's like people have to understand, like that happens probably quite a bit. Also, I'll use a more broader example if people aren't media savvy. Do you guys remember back in 2018 when certain movie reviewers and critics online were afraid to criticize Black Panther?
Yeah,
because they thought they were going to be called racist. Yeah. Or Captain Marvel because you're afraid of being a sexist.
Yeah. It's like, what? Keep in mind, if someone actually thinks you're a racist because you don't like a black movie, I can think of hundreds of other black movies you could make that argument for. But Black Panther?
I like Blade, so I just didn't think Black Panther was a good movie.
Yeah. Like, I keep in mind, I agree with the criticism of Black Panther. I fully agree with that. But it's just the notion that you were going to get called racist if you didn't like black. That's fucking stupid.
Or how about being called?
You have to remember what was going on at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
This is dead in the middle of cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're going into we got we've come out of Gamergate. The Hugo Awards got compromised. The whole Sad Puppies affair that happened in 2015, 2016.
Oh God, I remember
Gamergate
that.
in 2013. Then you had Occupy Wall Street. You had the Me Too movement. You had all of these different things that happened, and you get this perfect storm of everybody being canceled for any of the wrong thing. And then Black Panther, and then Captain Marvel. And the only reason that Captain Marvel cleared $1 billion was because it was sandwiched in between the two Avengers movies.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, "Oh, I got to go see this so I don't miss anything." So
and that was in the marketing too. That was in the marketing. Like you had to see it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And if Captain Marvel had not been positioned where it was,
it would have flopped.
It would have flopped. It would not have done $1 billion. But
release that movie now.
They had to.
Release Captain Marvel now and see how
no, Jay, they did. It's called The Marvels. It's literally called like one of the lowest performing Marvel movies of all time.
It had such worse stats. It performed opening weekend worse than The Incredible Hulk. And that movie came out in 2008. That was when I was in 8th grade. That's horrible. That's bad. That's unbelievably bad. But how long do you guys want to keep going for? Because
I got one more topic in mind.
Go ahead. Yeah, we'll go for like another 15-20 minutes, okay?
Yeah, DCU predictions. Me personally, I just don't think with the Paramount Warner merger, either the DCU is going to be completely overhauled or they're just going to drop it and just focus on Batman standalone movies until they build themselves back up. Either way, I feel like James Gunn's gone.
What's going to happen first is Gunn is definitely gone. I still think Gunn's gone. But what's going to happen, I guarantee you Paramount's going to come in and say, can you stop making movies about D-listers? Where's the freaking Justice League? Where's the Wonder Woman movie? Where's the Batman movie?
Derek, why are you yelling?
That's the only excuse is Batman because they're trying to prioritize Matt Reeves' Epic Crime Saga.
They should push a Batman movie out.
Even if
they're like, let's put Peacemaker out.
Hey, I love my big, hot, sexy John Cena, man. No homo in Minecraft, allegedly said by a guy named MSK.
You and your sweaty men.
No, okay.
Wait, I will say proudly proclaim you got a discount from Dick's Sporting Goods.
Hey!
Hold on. It's not Tuesday. It's Friday. That's different. Okay. I will say this. I'll just ask you guys this. It's a fire thing. It's a yes or no. Do you think this universe is already circling the drain?
Yes.
Yes.
Like I'm talking like it's pretty much like I have no faith already.
Yep.
Yeah. I
100%.
There's nothing different about this universe than the Sony Spider-Man universe. The only
I won't say it's that bad. Let's dial it back.
No, but Jaheed, again, they're focusing on characters that can't stand on their own in contrast to the characters that everyone wants to see. Because there was this great tweet at MSK when the Paramount deal was announced. Someone tweeted, and this is the biggest DCU show. They were like, oh, the universe is going to die, and we don't even have a Batman, a Wonder Woman, or a Justice League movie. And I'm like, that's God's fault!
Okay.
What was he announcing? Booster Gold! Swamp Thing!
Hang on. Let me throw this.
Don't you
let me
disrespect my homie Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm. When I sat and I watched Superman, and I watched Corn Sweat hit the ground at the very beginning, and you've got the 3 little text boxes that talk about, here's what's happened before, 3 million years ago, 30 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And he hits the ground, and I'm watching this movie, and I'm thinking to myself this whole time, this is a Silver Age comic book.
Yes.
James Gunn is such a big fan of Silver Age. That's what I think he's doing across the board with the DCU, which could work if he's given time to do it. But at the same time, you're going to have a lot of people that are saying, well, this didn't make $1 billion. This didn't make $1 billion. That time is gone. You are not going to have any of these movies cross $1 billion anymore.
They're lucky to hit 600. That's
6 or 8, 6, 7, 8. The thing about it is what happens here when Paramount, if Paramount gets the Warner Brothers deal, and it's likely, but it's still not a done thing. I wish nobody would do it, but say Paramount gets Warner Brothers, I think one of the first things they're going to do is they're going to sit there and they're going to say, you can't do $200 million movies.
Yeah, that's why we heard the reported budget of Supergirl is like $100 million. They're gonna have to, because that's
why Lanterns looks like crap.
I will say this, because it's such if the report is true, mind you, if the report is true, it will barely break even at like if it does Black Adam numbers, it'll barely break even.
I think it'll do Venom 3 numbers like 420 max, maybe. That's really generous.
Like I said, you need Black Adam numbers to break even.
Yeah, and I will answer this too. So yes, not every movie needs to make $1 billion, but they do need to be profitable based on their budget and marketing. You don't need to come on. You don't need $1 billion to do that though. You can be profitable without making $1 billion in movies. It's very possible. Now these movies these days probably not.
But the thing is, you gotta spend less. And if Supergirl is coming in, let's say $150 million, then they need to make
300, 350 million?
5 to 600 to start making a profit.
Okay.
Because the multiplier right now is almost 3. And you go 2.5 to 3 of whatever the production budget is. And if they're saying 100 to 150, then twice that much is 300. You add another half. You're 4 to 450 before you're even close to.
Or are they saying $100 million budget, movie budget, right? $100 million for the movie budget. So if it's a big blockbuster,
with marketing, it's
marketing budget is going to be about the same amount as the production budget.
Yeah, so let's say ballpark $200 million, right? Just a ballpark number. Yeah. That movie would have to at least do 700 to break even. That's breaking even. That's not even profit. No, it's screwed. This universe is done. It's like when I was cleaning my toilet earlier.
It's like the thing is, and people talk about.
We're only 2 years in.
Here's the thing: people talk about why we get so many Batman movies. It's because with Batman, you don't need that big of a budget because most of his stuff is grounded. It's like, have you seen? Look, Batman's most famous villain is a psychopathic clown.
Well, not only that, I'm not going to lie. Batman sells tickets.
If you look at the Supergirl's competition. Talk about okay. I'm not making a disgusting joke here. She is literally sandwiched in between so many movies. Toy Story 5, I know that's one of them. Spider-Man comes out, and then within 2 or 3 weeks after that, then there's a few other nice little hits there. I think the Odyssey comes out in that time frame too. It's not gonna do good. Come on, and it's not even just the fact is. I'll ask you guys this: do you guys generally feel any hype for Supergirl?
Oh God,
Clayface?
Here's the movies. You ready? Was Toy Story 5, Masters of the Universe?
Well, okay, so Masters of the Universe is coming out June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Supergirl will already be out by now.
Supergirl doesn't come out until June 26th.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a little bit of time. Toy Story 5 is the week before that.
Ooh.
And Minions comes out after.
Cinema! Yes! Yes, we're getting a Minions 3!
Well, we'll all show up in suits, boys!
Yes! We have to wear suits that week. The week Minions comes out. I am wearing a suit. I'm doing it.
How are you going to get
on that weekend, though, June 26th, the only thing that's coming out, same as Supergirl, is Jackass 5.
Wait, they're bringing Jackass 5 back.
Yeah, Jackass 5 is the last
according
one.
To this list, yeah.
If Jackass 5 makes more money than Supergirl, I'm
oh my god!
Actually done.
Then you can say James Gunn is a jackass.
Oh, he always was. Don't you remember the Scooby-Doo movies?
Yeah.
But see, the thing about it is, though, Toy Story 5 is really the
That's
only
next
real
year,
strong
Cameron. That's next year.
Competition here. But Toy Story 5 and Supergirl do not have the same audiences.
No.
True. But the competition surrounding everything you brought up is like.
But here's the thing. It's like to that. It's like if people are like going, okay, I'm going to take my family to the movies, but with everything being as expensive as it is, are they really going to spend like all the money for gas, snacks, seats to go see like all these movies in succession? Or are they going to be like, we're going to go to one movie this month as a family?
Well,
which one are they going to pick?
The families are going to go to Toy Story 5, then they're going to go to Minions.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two. They're not going to go. You know, Supergirl is going to be date movie. It's guys night out, gals night out. You know, go with your friends, go with your frat brothers.
Just something to do.
Whatever.
Something
to do.
Here's the other thing. Go ahead.
It's not a 4-quadrant movie like Project Hail Mary, for example.
2 at most.
Well, the other thing about Supergirl is it's not exactly a character that people people could say the CW show, but yeah, it's not exactly a big character for DC. I'm sorry, she's not. She's a derivative character of Superman. That's what Kara is.
Well, not only that, but the Supergirl that's in this movie is not the Supergirl that everybody would know.
Typically thinks about,
it's the Tom King version, and no one likes that.
You have the
Tom
CW
King's the
version, but you also have Helen Slater's version, and you have Laura Vandervoort's version from Smallville.
Yeah,
and they're all generally Supergirl. And you know, Supergirl has a certain particular image, certain reputation. And a lot of that comes from the animated stuff. She was in Justice League Unlimited.
A lot of stuff,
She showed up in some of those things. And
she had an animated movie.
We all grew up in the 90s, and we know who
she had the Apocalypse War movie where she really shined in that one.
Do what?
Oh, it's the Apocalypse War movie where she was fighting Darkseid. Remember she? So the thing is, to bring up to Sci-Fi's point, I want to ask about Supergirl too. Generally, ask yourself this: just thought. It's a thought exercise. Okay, is there any real like audience for this? And keep in mind, was there an audience for Star Wars? Just let's talk about modern cinema that doesn't make a lot of money. Okay?
And here's the thing: people keep bringing up, well, James Gunn is the reason why the Guardians of the Galaxy are a big thing, and I'm like, here's what you guys keep forgetting about that. Only reason why Guardians got greenlit and was as popular as it was is because the Marvel movies previously were so good that when people saw Marvel in front of something, they knew they were in for a good time. DC doesn't have that. You can't make that same assumption. The general audience doesn't know who James Gunn is.
And Marvel doesn't have that anymore.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They've been lost that.
Yeah, they've lost that years ago. And the thing is, like, when I'm trying to think about Supergirl and Lanterns and Clayface and all this stuff, it's not that it doesn't excite me to a certain extent. I would say I'm intrigued for the most part. But I'm not like, you know, dropping on my knees like my wife does when we're about to have sex and getting excited for this.
Sure, she does.
Oh my God, Jared. Let's have some fun here. Like, but I say, is there any real like audience for this? So if Supergirl underperforms, I will ask people this: was there an actual audience for that character to be sufficiently getting a lot of money at the box office?
No,
I would say no. If
there
it
shouldn't
fails,
have been a Supergirl movie.
Well, okay, I think there's an audience for it, but it's not big enough to make it successful.
Right.
Yeah. It could be a TV show, maybe.
Yeah, it would. If you're gonna adapt Woman of Tomorrow, I definitely would have made it a show. If you were gonna adapt Woman of Tomorrow,
Right?
Because a TV show, you can afford to do those more riskier projects that maybe don't have the audience for like a movie theater. But guns like movie.
Why are you like it's like a guy on a fucking microphone? God, oh God, Jared.
I do have a microphone.
Oh,
and ideals.
And to answer the question in the chat, Mortal Kombat comes out May 8th. So it's not even.
I don't think Mortal Kombat's competition.
No.
I just don't. No.
Well,
that first movie sucked ass.
It's more audience crossover with Supergirl than Toy
Story.
True.
Yeah, you see, if you're going off competition alone, I agree. If it's competition alone, like I just don't see. I want let people know this. What was the last Minions movie? What was it? Minions: The Rise of Gru, and what was the last one? Oh my God, the other one, Despicable Me 4, right?
Yeah, 2018, 2019. I want to say
Despicable Me 4. I'm pretty sure made like 950 million. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the other thing. So Cameron asked about Clayface. Do you know why Clayface is in the DCU? This is literally the reasoning Gunn gave. He literally said, because we needed DCU content. That is literally the reason Gunn gave.
Okay.
Looks like you're going to the Shadow Realm,
Jimbo.
And that could be coming from Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdy.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
That may not be just James Gunn going, oh, we need more stuff. When you hear the word content, that's somebody up corporate.
I saw like some executive saying that.
We gotta get more stuff in our streaming
and trying to build that up.
So that's probably Michael DeLuca and Pam Abney saying that.
I will say this before we move forward. An ideal scenario. I'm not saying Matt Reeves would do it or whether or not he'd not do it. I'm just saying purely from a business standpoint. And I know the comments are in my face, but an ideal scenario would be if you either had still use Matt Reeves' epic crime saga. That way you have the brand recognition, you have the momentum of a Bat project. That way you at least have something concurrent, either as an origin for your Batman movie in Brave and the Bold, or you just scrap Brave and the Bold and just integrate Matt Reeves into the DCU altogether. That would have been a more optimal situation from a business standpoint. Would Matt Reeves willing to play ball and restructure his entire vision? Probably not. But I'm saying, but purely from a business standpoint, especially if you're going through two corporate mergers back to back, it would be something to consider optically.
Well, the other thing too, Matt Reeves probably doesn't want to get locked into something long term. If you fold his movies into the overall DCU, now he's involved for how many years?
Could be like 5, 10.
At least 5. At least 5.
Or in this case, 2.
Okay, as we said, circling the drain. That's why I said earlier, when we're talking about all this stuff, it sounds like this universe has already circled the drain. I'm just saying, keep in mind, I'm not trying to be one of those nihilistic guys because I always am that way. But it's just when you think about all the decisions up to this point, and keep in mind, yes, we've not had this universe that long, but this is the same shit that Sony Universe did. And the only reason why it's a little different now is because it's because I think we have a little bit bigger of attachment to what this company's doing than Sony is. I think the only difference is there's a few more names here that we like just personally more. Because like, what's the difference between Sony starting with Venom and then going to Morbius than this universe starting with Creature Commander and now ending off with Clayface?
Well, you know what the thing is with this is like one of the reasons why the fan base is so rabid for this to be good and what they're so like, no, it can't fail, because here's the thing, they're so desperate to have DC wins that what they don't that they're unwilling to take any amount of criticism in any of these movies. That's why if you attack any of Gunn's movies justifiably, they'll still call you a Snyder bro.
That's yeah.
And
I think
go ahead.
The other part of it too, and I don't know how much credence I give this, but for a while, some people were talking about that James Gunn was there. This DCU exists only to increase the sale value of Warner Brothers, after which it goes away because they don't need it anymore. I'm not sure that I believe that, but that rumor is out there as well. But I don't see that you have to have a super cohesive universe like you're doing with Marvel, because that gets you into trouble at some point, because then you got to have homework. Yeah, I can appreciate Gunn's approach, saying, they're not all going to have to be connected. You don't have to watch this to see that, and you don't have to look at this to do this. Even though everybody was like, well, yeah, we got to get season 2 of Peacemaker out before you see Man of Steel, or, before you see Superman or whatever. Don't make us do homework. If you give me a Superman movie that's completely standalone, it's connected to Supergirl, but you don't have to see one to see the other. If you're going to give me the Green Lantern series and I don't have to watch 12 other things in order to know what's going on, I'm fine with that. That's good strategy. But what I do want is good story. I want to care about these characters. That doesn't necessarily have to be 100% faithful to the books, because you're translating to a different medium. I get that. I've been there.
Changes are going to happen.
But tell me a good story. Tell me a story that entertains me. Tell me a story that gives me characters I can care about. Stuff that matters. Don't preach at me. Don't lecture me. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to think about anything. Don't don't get into your marketing and get up in my face and insult me.
And what also, and very valid point, Jason. I want to add to that. James Gunn. Now, I'm just going purely off the vibe and artistic expression of his work, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like James is very bitter about how he got canceled, how he ended up getting canceled, like in the late 2010s. He is still bitter about that to this day, and it bleeds extremely into his work. Peacemaker, especially. Like he's still bitter about that, at least from what I'm seeing in his work, because and as for the rumor about, we were just trying to boost the stocks and optics of Warner Brothers and then just cash in, I could see Zaslav doing that specifically, because Zaslav is notorious for being.
That's what he did. That's what he's known for in the industry.
Yeah, that's essentially what he did. And I will give Zaslav credit. He did get finessed by Emmerich and AT&T. I will not refute that. I will not take that away from the man. However, if you told me, like not even 3 years ago when the slate was originally announced, that you were going to prioritize a revamped Suicide Squad, but with monsters, a pseudo Superman reboot after you pretty much kicked the door on Henry Cavill and all the goodwill that came from that, and we're not even going to get an active Batman movie from it. We have to prioritize either a bunch of carryovers from a previous acquisition that would have came out regardless, and even just, the only way I will give some grace to Clayface, because if you actually commit to the horror and make Batman like this imposing force of nature, you can make it work. Like that's doable, especially on a small budget. It is doable.
Well, and if they're doing Clayface the way they did Penguin, you don't even need Batman. It's a body horror film, and Werewolf by Night. Somebody mentioned that in the chat. The same kind of thing. You're going to focus on Clayface. It's his story, and it's, oh my God, what happened to me story. You can do that. You can sell that. And if you write it correctly, if you write it properly, you get the right people there, it could work and it could be very successful. It's not necessary, but you can make it work.
Yes. And I will say, as for like Dynamic Duo, and all these other projects, look, at the end of the day, especially when we factor these acquisitions and overhaul and regulations, you need to make money consistently. Not everything needs to be $1 billion, but you need to make a profit.
There has to be momentum this way, not this way, this way.
That's what Zaslav said in his very first earnings call, and everybody pilloried him for it. He's like, what do you mean we've got to make a profit? He's like, we're going to be making stuff, and we might not necessarily put it on our own streaming channel. We're going to look at all of the different options, how we can maximize revenue. What a concept. You want to make money?
What a concept. Making money.
I always say it all the time. DC and to a larger extent Warner Brothers, it's a business. It's not a charity. Stop acting like it's a charity.
The last thing I'll bring up here before we head out in a little bit, just very last thing, is when people said, but Warner Brothers doesn't care about making money on Superman. So they just gave James Gunn $200 million, $300 million just for free, just the fuck of it. Just here, throw it into a fucking furnace or something. No, they obviously want to make money.
It's funny. Zaslav doesn't care about money. The dude that acts Batgirl to save money
on a whim.
On a whim.
It's crazy. That's how you know you're a shill. Warner Brothers is fine without making a profit on a movie that they pretty much spent like $300 million on. What level of retardation has infected your brain? I actually want to know.
They didn't spend that much on Batgirl.
No.
Sorry, I meant Supergirl.
Yeah, well,
not Supergirl. Oh my God, Superman. Oh my God, my brain is fried. I'm old.
Well, and the other part of that is, when you look at the landscape now of distribution,
that is true.
We have gone from 7 to 8 different sources of revenue in distribution to 3. You used to have movie theater, then you had second run movie theater, the Dollar Theater down the street.
Oh, yeah. I miss
then
those.
You have prime cable, premium cable, HBO, Showtime. Then you had basic cable, and then you had broadcast network, and then you had pay-per-view, and then you had home video. There and home video could be VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. So you've got 7 main
distribution
ways that you can make money. Now it's movie theater, streaming,
and merchandise,
maybe home video. You got 3 different revenue streams, and that assumes that you're making money on the streaming, because if Warner Brothers makes the movie, Warner Brothers Pictures makes a movie, puts it on the movie theaters, and then put it on HBO Max, they're taking money out of the right-hand pocket and they're putting it in their left-hand pocket. They are not making a profit.
They're just moving the money around.
They're moving the money around.
I only have 2 pockets.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it has never made any sense to me.
Yeah,
this priority of streaming.
I'll give you a solid example. The CW verse. I'm sorry, I almost said Arrowverse. The CW never logistically made a profit for all its ratings, for all its semi-good shows like Smallville, Supernatural, even some of the Arrow shows before they eventually fell off.
The Vampire Diaries, peak entertainment right
there.
The
fact that studio was allowed to continue operating despite the fact that it never making a profit.
Because it was a joint venture with Paramount. It was essentially 2 studios
co-funding
it. Paramount.
Yeah.
It wasn't Paramount. I think it was
Viacom, CBS, which is under Paramount, essentially. Sorry.
Thank you.
Technically, sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, with network television, you have a revenue stream in the advertising dollars.
That is true.
And this is something that I talk about with the way you want to save Star Trek. The next Star Trek show needs to be on CBS so they can sell ads. And David Ellison is having those conversations with the advertising department early, saying, here's what we're going to do to fix Star Trek. But you have to have the right kind of show for that kind of audience, because CBS is a very specific audience that, all of the NCIS stuff and everything, you need a procedural there. Star Trek United would kind of fit that, because I'm hearing descriptions, it's kind of like West Wing Star Trek.
Good Lord.
But you have to put this stuff in a place where it makes some kind of money. The CW shows, one of the reasons why they moved Supergirl off of CBS to CW was because the ratings equivalency. On CBS, it was getting killed.
Yeah,
because it was only pulling in, 2 to 5 million viewers a week.
I think it was 4.5, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. And you need 17 to 22
average.
But if you move it over to the CW, 4.5 million views. That's tremendous.
That's great.
It's all in how you look at it, from a certain point of view. And
I think certain points of view,
the CW didn't have that high of an expectation in terms of the audience, because it wasn't primarily a broadcast network. A lot of that audience was getting picked up in the streaming on the CW's website, on their app. So your live audience, then you had your live +3, your live +7, and that's where the numbers were happening. And oddly enough, outside of the Arrowverse, the CW, the superhero shows, most of the audience on CW were 20-something women and 50-something women. before they started with Supernatural and all of the other superhero programs, yeah, they're doing stuff like, Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill and all these things.
90210, something like that, I believe it was called.
All of that stuff before, you had UPN, you had the WB, and it all kind of merged together. And one of the things they learned, because I worked with the CW affiliate for a while, one of the things that they discovered in the data was that daughters and moms were watching these shows together. And it's something that they didn't even anticipate. Okay, well, now we've got the women locked up. We need a male audience. So what do? We need superheroes.
No, you need the Vampire Diaries. That's what got their male audience. Just kidding.
Well, Vampire Diaries was a female audience.
What? Whoa, no.
Vampire Diaries was targeted at women.
Do you know what's funny about the CW? You mentioned Vampire Diaries at one point had their highest rated episode premiere ever until the Flash beat it. That's just crazy to think about.
It held that record for like a decade, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, Vampire Diaries is your Twilight crowd.
That pretty much.
We're not gay. Okay, I loved Vampire Diaries in originals. I was not a homosexual.
You're not, MSK. You're not.
I was very straight. I had
when Jay Heat and I first came on this show, you were talking about your encounters with sweaty men in clubs.
Now that was
MSK.
on Tuesdays.
MSK, you literally had a discount personally signed by Tyler Perry.
Good Lord. Actually, it was by Tom
Dick's
King.
Sporting Goods.
I just want to point out, people.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Minions. What's this Minions? Minions 5 essentially, because you have Minions: The Rise of Gru. I guess it was the fourth one.
It's
Minions,
a prequel.
Minions 4, 5, 3. Come on, guys. Despicable Me 4 made $972 million. Come on. Oh, that's profitable given how much marketing they spent, but just $972. Come on, that. Warner Brothers, like the move. Okay, I'll give you a last example before I head out. Minecraft made like $950. Pretty good, right? That's what Warner Brothers wanted Superman to make, and it made less than half of that. So if Warner Brothers was happy about Minecraft doing $950, why would they be celebrating a Superman movie doing less than half of that? Do you know how that logically makes no sense?
For Superman.
Yeah.
In merchandise, let's be objective here. In merchandise, they made their money back. But let's look at the box office. It couldn't even beat Man of Steel 2013.
Even with the updated numbers. People are like, it's updated. It's 924.
It updated and decreased.
You know what's crazy? That updated number doesn't change anything. Still made no money. So it'd be like if I went up to you guys and I opened a bag of chips and it had no chips in there. It's just hot air. There's just air. That's it. Just a bag of air. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna go to bang my wife actually.
Sure.
I need to get laid. Jared doesn't believe me because he hates me. Oh my god. Jokes aside. All right, Jay He Blaze. What do you have coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
As for me, I do gaming, videos, content. Really, I do just about everything. Really, so you just want to vibe and chill. I'd be down to happen. Like, comment, subscribe. We recently hit 310. So
that's awesome. Hell yeah, man! Congrats.
Thank you. I'm planning I also do direct collabs with Jared, for example. We have a little side project called the New Direction Verse. We're planning our next video on that, so stay tuned. And I just want to say, first and foremost, Jason Hunt, Mr. SciFi4Me, it is a pleasure, an honor, and I hope we collab again soon.
Yeah, happy to be here. This was fun.
You collab with Jared, or is it Cloud Chaser?
I know.
Good Lord. Maybe Sci-Fi comes on next week. Who knows? Maybe if the stars align. If I give him that CW contract that Grant Gustin got, dude was locked in for like 7 years. What the
Fun
fuck?
fact. Do you know when the Flash movie was first announced? When the first episode of the Flash show premiered.
Season 1. You know what's crazy? That back in the day, they used to air the pilots for CW shows on their website to see if they would gauge any interest. I remember I didn't even watch it on TV initially. I watched it on their website when they.
That's where I watched Legends of Tomorrow's premiere.
Right? Yeah, that was a really cool thing they used to have. Yeah, they didn't even used to premiere shows that fast. They used to just put it on their website and see if there was interest in it first. I thought it was a really cool idea. Honestly, it was a great idea. But then, as Sci-Fi said, if you're an advertiser, guys, CW shows were getting less views than like nerd erotic videos. And I like Gary. I met Gary. I like Gary a lot, but CW shows were getting lesser views than YouTubers.
Did you see that Starfleet Academy got less views than Gary just putting a Spock figure in front of a camera and live streaming it?
Jared, if you put on a YouTube show of you eating mangoes, Jared, put on a short of you eating mangoes. That'll probably get more views than Starfleet Academy. Just eating mangoes. To be like, okay. Mangoes. Let's
actually have this conversation.
No!
What is worse, Starfleet Academy, Gotham Knights, or
Dragon Ball Evolution?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there because that's a war crime.
Catwoman,
Marvel.
Let's keep this within TV shows, please.
TV shows.
Don't tell me what to do.
Man, worst TV show ever? God damn it! I have to really think about that. Fuck.
Wait, what was that one? What was that one reboot they did? Disney did, and they
buried I got it. What's worse? Whatever we're talking about, or Aliens versus Predator Requiem.
Oh shit.
Oh.
There you go. I got you.
I will say the worst movie I've ever seen. No one knows what it is because Halle Berry was in this shark movie called I forgot what it was called. No, because that's quality. It was oh my god, Dark Tide. It was a movie she was in called Dark Tide or something. You can watch it for free on YouTube. It is by far and away one of the worst movies ever made. Quite literally top 10 horseshit. I would call it horseshit on screen.
Dark Tide. Yes. Here's how you know it's horseshit. It's on Tubi.
No, the Shark Knight Rises. Oh my god, stop.
The worst movie that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
We walked out at the 15-minute mark. It was
it was what?
It was it's called Overboard now, but it was originally called The Unsinkable Shecky Moskowitz.
I think I've heard of this movie.
Adam Sandler and Norm Macdonald, and Adam Sandler is a janitor on a cruise ship, and he wants to be the cruise ship's stand-up comic.
Oh,
it is a terrible.
Is it as bad as R.I.P.D.? Huh? No, is it RPD? Remember that movie with Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds? RPD?
Oh yeah,
that was
dead
garbage. God, that was the worst thing ever.
This is such a terrible movie.
Hey, MSK, share my screen. I found the images of this Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
look at this poster.
This came out the same year as Batman.
Batman 89.
The first Michael Keaton movie. And
fatality.
We were going to go see that, and it was sold out. And we were like, well, what else is here? Well,
I guess
this unsinkable
trailer, Babes Ahoy.
Okay.
Bad.
Dude, you know what's crazy? It's like you see Batman 89 or that. So your choices are having sex with Sydney Sweeney or having sex with Whoopi Goldberg. You know what?
Wait, are we counting prime Whoopi Goldberg?
No, it's Sydney Sweeney
and Whoopi Goldberg.
No. Or Rachel Zegler.
Okay, Rachel Zegler's
okay, she's a narcissist, but if I had to choose between Rachel Zegler and Whoopi Goldberg,
that's like people saying Snow White makes no sense because Gal Gadot, the woman that's supposed to be jealous of Zegler, is way hotter.
I don't get it. It's like if have sex with Wanda Sykes or have sex with Ana de Armas. You know what? Why would I choose using Wanda Sykes though? Just saying. All right.
The only last thing I'm gonna say is what was that one Hanukkah movie? Eight Crazy
Nights or something like that.
Thank you. That is the worst movie I've ever seen.
If you guys ever watch Dark Tide, it's one of those. It actually will make you die of laugh. It's one of the worst, and not just a bad shark movie, because that's a dime a dozen. That's just a horrible movie, period. Why she filmed that? Who knows, honestly. Wait, did we do Jared's outro yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, Jared. You got a plan coming up?
Yeah, so tomorrow, my co-host and I are going to be comparing Civil War to Injustice and talk about why Marvel did the whole heroes fighting story better than DC because Injustice is a horrible crime against comic books. And then, yes, I hate Injustice. Now, I'm reviewing a volume of Sensation Comics this Sunday. And let's see what else. And then next week, I'm comparing Superman to the Sentry. So that should be fun. And in terms of and tomorrow we're also reviewing Terminator 3.
Wait, hold on. You have a podcast talking about nerd stuff?
Yeah, I know.
Say it ain't so.
What is this over here?
With nerds? Oh my god! People like you guys are nerds, so you just don't have sex. It's like, okay, good lord. Wait, so if you have a family and you're a nerd, wouldn't that make you in the minority of nerds that don't? I'm just saying that makes you in the minority, right?
I do have a girlriend, so
you're in the minority technically.
Same.
Okay. Oh my god. So
are we really that much in the minority then, MSK?
I mean, if we're going to have this level of anecdotal evidence, might as well, But hey, we're all white, right?
The fuck?
But Jay, a white. Jay, you're kind of like Jay, you're like a white black man, technically. In Minecraft. All right.
Oh my god.
And the stream before I crash out. Like for real.
Oh my god. Jokes. Fucking jokes. I'm joking, guys. All right. Sci-Fi. You have anything planned coming you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, we've got tomorrow. Sorry, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. The Bad News Bards talking role-playing games, tabletop stuff. That's a regular program that we do. I also participate on the Babylon 5 rewatch on Sci-Fi Snobs channel on Wednesday nights, and then live from the bunker on Monday. I'm going to have Paul DeGarabedian from ComScore. We're going to be talking about box office for Project Hail Mary and the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and we'll talk some trailer stuff there as well. Past that, I'm not sure what else we're going to do. So join us in the Batcave over the weekend, and on Monday, we'll see what happens from there.
Good lord, this man actually has a Batcave. That's like an actual Batcave where he had all those monitors stacked. And you ask, like, what can 5 of those do that one can't? I don't know. I'm Batman. It's like, okay.
Hey, it's a better setup than Gotham Knights. You got to give him that.
Every single screen has a specific function when I do a live stream. I even use this thing to check my email.
Oh my god. So if you watch a movie, couldn't you just play the movie on all 5 screens to watch it? That'd be hilarious.
I guess I could do that, maybe.
But
put the same movie on 5 screens, but within each of the movies are playing at different parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh god. All right. Oh, as you guys know, for me, I have podcasts and game streams coming up. I'm gonna try and get my new PC set up. But yeah, it was great having a Sci-Fi on as a guest this week. Hopefully, he comes back next Friday. Hopefully, well, let's see. He's just left me like my dad. He's gonna leave me. It's okay. It's okay. But
well, at least you got the milk, MSK. At least
I didn't get anything. I got Marlboro cigarettes and some Skittles. I love Skittles, actually. Not a smoker. No drinking or smoking. I'm a straight edge, clean cut, rich, charismatic, good looking dude. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a great Easter weekend. And the fuck, Vin Diesel's outside. The hell, dude, bastard. All right, but yes, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great
Peace.